Hello, hello. So I'm live a little bit early. I just wanted to make sure I have a good sound check and everything. But we are going to start at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock on the dot. That's all I know about that song. I don't know. I really don't know the lyrics. It's a nice song. I enjoy it, but I don't know the lyrics. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Welcome to Locs Talk Live with yours truly, Pammie. Hello. Say hello in the chat so I know who's coming in. Don't forget to hit that like button if you've been liking the contents so far as you have been watching Locs Talk Live. Um, just waiting a few minutes for a couple of people to come in and then I'll get started and whatnot and what to nibble. So last week, as you all know, I did not go live because I was not spring cleaning, but spring cleansing. Now, what's the difference? Well, spring cleansing, I'll get into that when we get into this talk about the difference. But there is, for me, a difference between just spring cleaning and like cleaning everything up and throwing away old junk and all of that stuff. But spring cleansing is taking it a little extra step, you know. All right, 7 p.m. So I'm going to get started. And as people come in, I'm going to say hello. Okay? All right? Okay. So hello. Welcome to Locs Talk Live with Pammie. Hi, my name is Pamela. I'm affectionately known by my Locs and Loose-Natural Hair community and family as Pammie. Pammie is a nickname that I've had my entire life, but it's something that I carried into my adulthood. My content on here is generally about locks and loose natural hair. So I know it says Locs Talk, but it's only because I have locks. I talk about locks, all things locks and loose natural hair. So what am I? I am, in fact, a hair beautician and loctician and lockologist. A beautician, I've been trained my entire life, actually, since I was a child, because my mother was a cosmetologist. So she taught my sisters and I as we were children. And when I came of age, I did receive the certification while I was in high school as a beautician. Did I work it full time? No. I had other things that I wanted to do, like go to school and, do other stuff. But hair is not something that I stopped doing. I would still do my friend's hair and my cousin's hair and so on and so forth. So my experience always stayed up here. Loctician. Now, also, just to be clear, as a beautician, a lot of the stuff that I was taught and certified to do, I no longer do because I'm more of an organic loose natural hair care specialist, which means I do little to no chemically treated processing to your hair, right? Such as bleaching or relaxers, perms, Jericho, things like that. I do color hair. However, I color hair with natural colors, organic dyes, vegan rinses, and things like that. Anything that requires me having to lift your hair with a bleach, I do not do. The whole primary reason for what I do with hair now is natural hair care to maintain your hair in its natural state without altering or changing it in any way. Do it. Just caring for your loose natural hair as it grows out of your scalp. Second, loctician. Now, my certification as a loctician came when I decided to lock my hair. My hair's been locked 8 years. When I went into my lock journey, I foolishly went in believing that my knowledge of caring for loose natural hair was all that I needed in order to be a loctician. And I quickly learned that that is untrue. There are a lot of things that has to be done when it comes to doing locks. that can't be done. Like if certain things I was able to do with my loose natural hair that I should not do with my locks, because it can cause massive buildup or heavy weight and stuff like that. So yeah, it took time. I did have to actually take some time to do some training. So the first 2 years of my lock journey, I did a training and apprenticeship. Which what does that mean? I actually worked with my trainer. Um, Went into her shop, did some stuff and whatnot, um, and received my certification. I received my certification long before I stopped my apprenticeship with her, but um, I stepped with her until I felt comfortable enough to consider myself a professional when it came to locks. Um, Lockologist, study of, remember when you hear ologist, it's just the study of whatever. So lockologist is a person who studies locks. Lock community is an ever evolving community. Hi Diamond, hi Lisa. Is an ever evolving community. Um, Therefore, must continue to study it, understand it. Um, I've learned a great deal of changes that can occur with having locks and how they transform. It's become much easier for me to describe to clients what might be happening with their hair when they see certain things, and I study these things and I make sure that I keep notes of it, because I learned so much more from my clients than I ever did in any classroom from an instructor. Remember, learning never stops. So with all that being said, hi Lele, how are you? Um, Moving forward, so I talked about last week, I did not do Locs Talk Live. Y'all all know I didn't do Locs Talk Live. I'm going back and forth because my computer's over here and the camera's right here. Um, I didn't go live last week because I spent the entire spring break that my child, only one left, was out on spring break. I closed my business so that I can do the spring cleanse. Now, again, you see, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on the word cleanse. Spring cleaning generally is doing like a thorough cleaning of your house beyond what you would do like on a weekly basis. You know how we get up Saturday morning and blast the music and we start cleaning the house up and tidying things up and putting things away and stuff like that, right? But spring cleaning goes beyond that. We start sorting through things. We donate stuff. We throw stuff away. We vacuum under the bed, which we probably hadn't done all year prior to that. We make sure that all the dust bunnies and everything is gone and out of the house, right? Well, for me, spring cleansing takes it a step further. Not only am I literally, when I say I've cleaned every surface in here, I mean I have like trinkets and stuff on the tables, like even my product table. Took everything off and literally hand washed every item on the table, cleaned the table, put everything back. I have a shelf in the corner. My clients can attest to it. I have all these little things on the little trinkets and statues and stuff. Every single piece came off, got hand washed, the shelf got cleaned, and everything got put back. That is the severity of how far I went with cleaning everything. Even the top of the picture frames and everything got clean. Walls clean, like wiped down. And the reason for it is not because everything was dirty. No, I keep my house pretty clean. But what settles in your home over time is not just dust, but it's also energy, right? So between negative energy kind of sneaking its way in and finding corners to hide in, but also stale energy of individuals that may no longer be a part of my existence in moving forward. They're still around, but they just aren't a part of my journey anymore. or not coming in my home, and the energy that imprinted, that left behind from the last time that I saw them, may still kind of be lingering. So the cleanse is to remove all of that energy and to bring and replace it with positive energy, prosperity, luck, things like that. So that takes a lot of time, and I must be meticulous in my task when doing so. Now, every year when I do a spring cleanse, I do 85 to 90% of my home. But I don't have to hit every single spot. Like last year, I was drawn to really pulling everything out and reorganizing all of the closets. So like the linen closet and the closet that has all of the cleaning products in it, and the utility closet, and all of the kitchen cabinets were all redone. And then leading after that, it was just, again, basic spring cleaning, cleaning all the surfaces, dusting really good, vacuuming, bringing the allergies way down by removing dust and stuff and debris. But this year, different. I was drawn to my personal closet. My wardrobe has been reduced by about 65% because I was called to simplify my life and not have so much. It was not necessary for me to have a massive wardrobe any longer. What I do have is very beautiful, comfortable items that are me. I finally found what I consider my style, and not the latest in fashion, but my particular style, and what is a reflection of Pammie. So what's left of my wardrobe are all things that are Pammie. Everything else, even items that I have bought that still had the tags on them, a lot of things were donated. So I hope that whoever receives those things, they enjoy them. A few coats were donated. Some really nice purses were donated. So I enjoyed the liberation of being able to release those things, but knowing someone else can enjoy them. And I also bless them with positive energy so that it's not no crazy shit for whoever receives it. Moving forward, spring is the season of rebirth. So like when people say Happy New Year in January, that's the new calendar year for most people. But that is the end of a cycle for me. Winter is the time that I use to reflect and look at the things and people that I needed to say, okay, I'm on another plane in my journey where I'm getting ready to step up. And that's a really hard place to be, because it's a very lonely space to be in as well, because you know everybody's not going with you. So that's why for me the winter is a season of death, is where things go away and don't return. So spring, rebirth, anything that I didn't let go of during the winter time, the remainder of that is released and let go of within that week or so of time that I use to meticulously cleanse my home of dirt, dust bunnies, negative energy, stale energy. And now I can breathe. I don't feel the pressures of any of those things around me anymore. I had a client came, and she was like, "What the hell did you do in here? It feels so different in here." Well, that's the whole purpose of doing that. So moving forward, now that I've gotten that out, I thank you all for your patience in waiting for me to come back this week. And this week, season for protective styles. Spring is the season for protective styles. So I am going to talk about in full detail what protective styles are, what their purposes are, and how to maintain them properly. And this is for both loose natural hair and for locks. Okay. I see a couple of people popped out. I hope y'all come back. I hope I didn't bore y'all with my crap. Um, so, why is it called a protective style? The purpose for a protective style in particular is generally to protect the very ends of your hair. It's to protect all of your hair, but generally it's to protect the ends of your hair. If you've ever met a person, because I've met dozens, if not, yeah, I've met dozens of people that says, my hair doesn't grow, my hair doesn't grow, my hair doesn't grow. Your hair does grow. It does. But the difference is, if you're not taking care of the ends of your hair and protecting them, clipping them when you need to, and getting rid of dead hair or split ends and things like that, then your hair on the ends is breaking off as fast, if not faster, than your hair is growing out of your head. Now, on average, emphasis on the word average, because some people's hair grows significantly fast. But on average, a person's hair grows approximately half an inch per month. That's on average. Like I said, there are some people, their hair grows like crazy and it's just shooting out like crazy. But on average, hair grows about half an inch per month. So we're talking about 6 inches of hair growth per year. Now for locks, if you factor in shrinkage, depending solely on your hair texture, some with the looser wavy hair subtract maybe an inch away from that. So you're going to grow approximately 5 inches of locks per year. If you have really curly texture, more up in the area of 4C, then you're going to average about 4 inches of locks per year. And this is with locks, factoring in shrinkage, because as the hair locks the hair, the locks does shrink a little bit because it tightens up so that the lock can stay in place. So yes, hair does grow. But if you're not protecting the ends of your hair, that is what is making it seem like your hair isn't growing. You have to protect the ends of your hair. Okay, so that's why it's called a protective style. It's really to tuck away the ends to protect it so the hair doesn't die and the ends doesn't get damaged so much, and it's well protected, right? Any other questions that you might have, please put them in the chat so that I can get to your questions as well. So now the question is, what is the recommended timeline of how long you should have a protective style in your hair? The recommended timeline for a protective style to be in your hair in one period of time should be 6 to 8 weeks. There has been individuals that's gone far longer than that, and it can cause damage because the hair can become significantly dry or massive buildup. You know, a lot of factors can come into play when you go, there's a lot of risk at play once you cross the threshold of 8 weeks. So on average, again, recommended timeline for protective styles is anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. I do not recommend going beyond that before you take it out and let it rest at least a week before you reinstall it. Okay? And later when I talk about certain damages that can occur because of protective styles, I will explain why you should let your hair rest before reinstalling it. Okay? Third question in regards to protective styles. How often should I clip my ends? How often should you clip your ends? My answer to how often you should clip your ends, and this is whether you have locks or loose natural hair, you clip your ends as needed. There's no specific schedule for you to stick to when it comes to clipping your ends. If your ends become frail or damaged or dry or split or breaking constantly, it's time to let go of those ends. Okay. When my hair was loose natural, I was clipping my hair on the ends at least once every other month. That was for me because that's what allowed my hair to grow out. Now, the funny thing is, even though I was doing that every year in summertime, I was chopping all my hair off again, making it short because I liked keeping my hair short, curly, and just wash it, curl it up, and get on out of here. And then after the summer passed, I let it grow out again. And, so that's what happened there. But when it comes to clipping your ends, and also make absolutely, to be absolutely clear and certain of what I'm trying to explain to you, clipping your ends is not just about split ends. Your hair dies also. There's a life cycle to your hair, right? It does not stay live forever. It does die, and it starts at the ends. Again, think about a plant. After a certain maturity or place of maturity, see all the little brown that be around the edges of the leaves on the plant, right? If you don't cut those off, what happens? The entire leaf will die. So you have to cut that dead hair off too. Don't leave that dead hair on there. Okay? That dead hair, you don't want to leave on there. So again, clip as needed. That's why I kind of stuck with a schedule of every other month, because I didn't really have bad split ends, because I didn't do a lot of stuff manipulating the ends of my hair when my hair was loose natural. All right. So the next thing that was asked about that, are extension braids, wigs, crochet braids, and weaves the only protective style? The answer to that question is no. They are some of the protective styles, but they are not the only protective styles. If you just braid your natural hair, that's a protective style as well. Because once the ends are braided, you're not touching them anymore, right? Even if your hair is in a bun, and you just tuck the ends on and you just pin it in place, that's a protective style. And I've seen, like, my grandmother used to do that. She used to put her hair back and then put it like a bun in her hair and just leave it in for like a week. That was a protective style. Now, it's a shorter lived protective style, but it's still a protective style. Goddess braids are a protective style. That's the thick cornrows. Those are protective styles. What else is a protective style? Anything you're doing where you're not going to be combing or playing or messing with the ends of your hair on a daily basis is considered a protective style. So oftentimes when you see women wearing wigs, it's not just to have length or anything or to look different. She just wants to protect her hair underneath there, right? So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Another question asked on top of that is, can you do protective styles with locks? The answer to that question, yes, you can. Now, there was a follow-up question that came after that. And they said, can I do extension braids over locks? While I've seen many people do extension braids over locks, and I have done it for a couple of clients that really were not feeling secure about their locks at the time and needed their locks to be, look more presentable because they had to be at a event for work or something like that, and they didn't want to just wear their locks. I've done it. However, it's not something that is on my service, because oftentimes people get too involved with that, and it's an issue with the weight of the added hair added to your locks that worries me in how that can affect, the density of your hair and it breaking off at the roots. So do I recommend braids over locks? Not really. Again, people that I have done it for in the past, they kept it in long enough for what they needed to wear it for and immediately removed. And also they left it to me to purchase the hair. So because all of synthetic hair is not the same weight. There's some that's way heavier than others. So thankfully they said you get it, so you make sure you get something much lighter so we don't have to worry about that happening. But again, when I did do it, they kept it in very temporary just for what they needed it in for and immediately took it out. But the protective styles that are for locks is styles that you can actually put your own locks in. So oftentimes you see people go get their hair retwist and they'll get a 2-strand twist style in their hair. That's actually a protective style of locks because it protects both the roots and the ends of your locks because you're not playing around and pulling and tugging at your hair. You're just letting it be. And at the same time, you got a fly style in your hair. So you don't have to do much of anything but cover it at night, moisturize it every day, and go on about your business. That is considered a lock protective style. Also regular braids, Now, oftentimes people think that other styles that are put in locks, like when you see these fancy styles where they have it up and these tight buns and stuff, I don't consider those protective styles. They are lock styles and they're beautiful, but I don't consider them protective styles because of the tension of them being pulled and held up in that position for such a long period of time. And that can cause issues with breakage, traction alopecia, hair loss, follicle damage, and all of that stuff as well. So you have to be very, very careful when it comes down to what you consider a protective style. So generally for me and my clients, lock protective styles are 2-strand twists or braids that you just wear as is. Sometime if you want to pin them up, that's fine too. It is a protective style. You're not doing much of anything with your hair. There was a debate between myself and one of my colleagues, and she's like, well, what about curls? If you're wearing it out and your locks are still like moving around individually, I don't consider it a protective style because it's just loose and out, Now, again, with locks, we don't do much of anything with our hair to begin with, right? So, hello, how you doing? Distractible me. But it is something that could be worn, But those are my two favorite protective styles for locks. 2-strand twist and braids. You cannot go wrong with it. You can do so much with it. It's like you can style it like if you were styling your locks while they were individually out. And those protective styles also help your retwist stay in place longer. So you can go longer periods of time between your retwists and you're not over manipulating your hair. That's another reason why I consider 2-strand twist and lock braids to be protective styles. And again, when you put them in, you don't want to make it too tight at the root because you don't want that tension pulling like you would like with a lot of these styles. They look beautiful, but they tight. And you won't notice it until after it's all in and like, damn, you don't want to take it out. And usually like when I do my hair in one of those fancy styles, it's usually for a big event. And as soon as that event is over, I don't care if it took me 4 hours to put it in. I'm taking that shit out when I get home. That's it. I'm not leaving it in my head. I'm sorry. I can't do it. So yes, protective styles can be worn in locks. Extensions over locks. It's been done. It's not something I recommend. I've seen the damage that it can do. So again, I'm a person who is preventive when it comes to damaging hair. So it's not something that is on my service. And yeah, okay. What's the next question? What are the best protective styles to protect your hair from the sun? Any protective style that is completely covering your hair and shading it from the light of the sun is the best protective styles. And generally, the two best protective styles that I know of that can achieve that is either the crochet braids, because you do a cornrow pattern underneath and then you do the synthetic crochet hair over it. So your hair is completely covered. A sew-in weave, same thing. A braid pattern underneath and then the weave is covering all of your hair. So your hair is not exposed to the sun at all. And the third one is generally just braiding your own hair and wearing a wig. Those are the three protective styles that you can put in your hair that completely protects your hair from the heat of the sun. Only thing is there's a risk of it being a little hot. I've been told, not so much with the crochet braids, but with the wig and the weave, I've been told that it can get pretty hot with that one. It's almost like you're wearing a hat. So, I don't know. Yeah. A weave is not something that I wore often. So, did I ever wear a wig? No. Did I? Other than me playing with my mother's wigs when I was little, I've never worn a wig before. Who knows? Maybe I might experiment. I've worn a weave before. But I've always worn it where it was like just half of my hair was weaved. So the back was weaved and like I would braid the front, or, remember how we used to do the braids in the front and have like the crown? Yeah, that's generally, I've had plenty of times where I braided my hair with braid extensions. But that does not necessarily protect my hair completely from the sun, because your hair is still exposed to the light of the sun and heat. Okay, Lele, would lock braids cause tension? Lock braids, if they're too tight. The term, Lele, that you are referring to is actually called traction alopecia. Yes, lock braids, if they are done too tight, definitely can cause traction alopecia. Especially like if you put them in and then you also pull them back. Yeah. So when they're put in, as long as they're not too tight at the root when they're put in, you're fine. But if they're like pulling them bad boys real tight, like, no, don't do that. Yeah, I don't miss those days at all either. They're distracted with me. But with that question being asked, Lele, I'm going to go into the final part that's here. The danger of protective styles and what kind of damage can be caused. Again, in the beginning of this discussion, when I said with a protective style, generally protective style is meant to protect the ends of your hair, to keep it from breaking and continuing excess damage and things like that. So one of the dangers with your protective style is if you have damage to the ends of your hair. And I've had this happen before where people will come and get their hair done with a protective style, whether I was braiding their hair or doing a crochet style, and they had damaged ends. I would tell them, I need to clip your ends before I put this in. Oh, no, it's fine. It is not fine, because that damage will continue rising up the shaft of your hair if I don't remove it before putting your protective style in. The whole purpose of it being a protective style goes out the window when you tell me, no, don't cut it. We need to cut it. We need to cut it. I'm not a scissor happy person. I only cut off what needs to be cut off. But because of this, like security issue. You know, a lot of generally women are insecure about losing the length of their hair, and at any cost will salvage that length, even if she can clearly see that her hair is damaged. I've seen it where the hair was really damaged and stringy and frail and translucent at the ends. You can literally see through the hair, and they want to hold on to it. Length is not worth salvaging and holding on to if it's going to continue to kill the rest of your healthy hair. So be certain that if the person that's doing your hair, because a lot of inexperienced people that don't know hair, but they know how to put a great braids in your hair, they know how to put a great protective crochet braids and faux locks and hand rock, you know, all of those in your hair, but they'll do it right on top of damaged hair. And then when you take it out, that damage traveled further up the shaft of your hair. And now, instead of the 1 or 2 inches of hair that you should have clipped off before you did your style, now you got to cut off almost 5 inches of hair because it continued up. Oftentimes, not only are people putting protective styles over damaged hair, they're leaving that protective style in for way too long, and they're not managing their hair with moisture and things like that throughout the time that their hair is in a protective style. Distractably, you can attest to this. Before I started your locks, I used to do her faux locks, and that grew her hair out, and we made sure if she needed to have her ends clipped, we clipped her ends. She knew how to moisturize her hair underneath while she had the faux locks in. And a lot of people, y'all hear me saying faux locks. F-A-U-X is pronounced faux. It's a French word that means fake or false. But the proper pronunciation for the word is faux. Oftentimes people say fox, and it's not. It's just faux. So I just wanted to clear that up. But with that, it's important that you make sure you take care of your hair before installing the protective style. Another thing that can be damaging to protective styles, again, reiterating what I just said, lack of moisture. You have to moisturize your hair while you're wearing a protective style. You know, people, they wear wigs, but they wear wigs over braids. It's not just their loose hair underneath it. They put braids in it. So when you take that wig off at night, you still need to spritz your hair and oil your scalp. Don't just leave it sitting there not doing nothing to it and then throwing the wig back on it the next day. Your hair can dry out. It can really dehydrate. Moisturize your hair. Okay? And then that's important. I have seen what people ask me, can I wash my hair while my hair is braided? Yes, you can. Yes, you can wash your hair. If you have buildup, like if you've been putting like edge control or something like that, and you see it caking up and building up, you want to wash that out. You do not want to leave it there, especially if you're going to be leaving your braids in for like 2 months. Don't leave that building up on there, because when you're ready to take those braids out, guess what? You undoing it, all of a sudden, the density of your edges is decreased by 90%, and now your hairline went from here to here because it's literally, you killed your hair because you didn't wash the buildup out. Wash it out if you know you're using products that's building up, especially on the front hairline. So that's another piece of damage. Another damage that protective styles can do is, whether you have braids in it or whatever, don't pull it so tight. It's already have tension from the braids being there. Don't pull it back where it's pulling even harder. If you see those little bumps, those are the beginning signs of traction alopecia. That means that your hair follicles are becoming, they are damaging. The damage is starting when you see those little bumps, especially if they got fluid coming out of them. That is significant damage that is happening to those hair follicles. And oftentimes it's damage that can't be reversed. Sometimes too much tension can cause so much damage and hair loss that you cannot even repair the follicle to regrow your hair back. Be very careful. The next thing that could cause significant damage to the hair, I said earlier I was going to come back to this topic. When you leave a protective style in way too long, I have seen, witnessed, been involved with people who has had protective styles and for way too long. I've removed weaves that have been in for 3 to 6 months. A lot of stuff going on underneath there. A lot of stuff. And again, this goes back to Locs Talk Live from a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about the effects that mental health can have on your hair. Oftentimes, when that happens, it's because of something that is connected to mental health. Like they just cannot get it together so that they can do something with their hair. And it's easier to neglect when you have something on top of it that looks presentable. So now it's even more easy to put it off. And it's hard because you want to protect this person and make them understand that you see what happened and you understand what happened. But again, protective styles can be a mask for some when it comes to mental health. They'll put braids in their hair, they'll wear a weave and things, and they'll leave it in way too long, to the point where can this be removed without them losing their hair? The last thing you want somebody to do is lose their hair. Be very careful. Protective style, the key word is protective. So if you're doing something that's causing harm, it's no longer a protective style. Distracted with me, I had my hair in faux locks for 14 months before I changed to locks. Right. Pammie still educated me on how to take care of my natural hair before and during and after. So to clear up what she's saying, and she didn't have her hair in faux locks for 14 straight months. She would put them in, keep them in the 6 to 8 weeks, remove them, come in for another reinstallment. So that's what she meant when she said she had her faux locks for 14 months before locking her hair. Distractible Me is one of my clients. She and I have been working together. God, how long now, sis? God, maybe 4 years since I've been doing it, since I started doing your hair, almost 5 years, right? So when I started with her, it was just with her natural hair. I was doing crochet protective styles in her hair. So we growing her hair out and restoring the health of her hair. And over that time, yes, educating her on how to properly maintain her hair and keep it well nourished, during the time that she had her faux locks in her hair, and making sure that she took them out a good amount of time before having them reinstalled and things like that. So yes, 4 to 5 years exactly. I had traction alopecia before I locked my hair and came from wearing tight braids, and now I'm 3 years under Pammie care. Front edges have grown back significantly. Yes, Jesus, hallelujah. Now she is a success story. Distractible Me is a success story of restored hair, that we were able to grow her hair back from extensive damage of traction alopecia. She used to get braids in her hair, and again, like what I was saying, that tension and pulling caused her to lose a lot of the hair and decrease density in the front. But it did not cause such a significant damage where we couldn't restore her hair follicles and regrow her hair, because all my baby girl's edges are back. Yes, she has a full head of hair all the way up here. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Hey, Vanessa, how are you? A lot of people will benefit from these lives. I hope so. That's the whole point. I want people to benefit from these lives. So yeah, if you know people who could benefit from them, please share. Sharing is caring. But protective styles are important. Oftentimes people think that ponytails are protective styles. Ponytails, believe it or not, are one of the primary causes for traction alopecia, because that slick back and pulling it back into a ponytail is consistent tension all day long. So the tensile strength of your hair is not that strong. You know, so if you have it in this tight ponytail, slicked back, our hair is not meant to do that. If you notice that we all have naturally curly hair, our hair is not meant, it's not meant to be stretched and slicked straight like that. The reason why it's like that is because you have to pull it to make it happen, right? So chill out. So my question and Q&A on the topic of protective styles and understanding them is completed. Now, I also want to go into this. Spring. How many of y'all are suffering hugely from the pollen that's just coating everything outside right now? Crazy, right? That pollen got my babies in here. John too. Just everybody just sneezing like crazy. You know, the red eyes, the itchy throat, and you know, when you're doing that, and all the stuff in the back of your nose, and just all that stuff, right? Vanessa says, I'm not surprised about the ponytails. My hair is healthier, free. I really do ponytails on fine. It's good. Pollen got you bad. Getting allergy shots tomorrow. The pollen is terrible. Because there's a lot of male trees. You know, we don't have a lot of female trees in New York City. Most of the trees, about 85 to 90% of the trees are male, which is why the pollen count is significantly high. It's the male trees that produce all the pollen. Let me put two and two together. Right. All the male trees is producing the pollen. So here's my tip. Springtime, especially at the top of spring, is the time of year where I often wear head wraps. The reason for it not only is because they're cute, because I just washed all of my head wraps. I did the laundry today, and all my head wraps that I had when I was spring cleaning, I threw them in the hamper that was like not in a space where it was, you know, I cleaned all of them because my hair's going to get covered when I go outside. And the reason for it is because all this pollen floating around, I don't need it piling up in my hair, which is why I recommend, if you have head wraps and you know how to wear them and stuff, wrap your hair up when you're outside during this time of year, because that pollen is ridiculous. It really is. Thankfully, we have our a little Alexa thing over here tell us when the pollen count is severely high, and I know if I'm going to be going out to wrap my hair up, to cover my hair up, because I'm not trying to go out there and then come in the house and have pollen all in my locks, and now I'm really killing my family because they have bad allergies. I do too, and my allergies came in my 40s. I hate that. I went my whole life with no allergies, and now I'm in my 40s. Now I get allergies. That sucks. It does. However, you know, I went outside the other day with Rick, and like literally we was brushing pollen off of our clothes. So like if it's falling on us while we're walking down the street, cover your hair. If you can, cover your hair. Cover your hair. You know, Rick was like, can I take like 3 Claritin? No, you cannot. What are you doing? No. So yeah, might have to take them to get some allergy shots too. So finally, detoxing. Now, detoxing your hair is something that you can do whether it is loose and natural or locked. You do not need to just have locks to detox your hair. You can do a hair detox. As long as you got hair in your hair, you can do a hair detox. That's the final thing that I need to do, because today I did the final task of my spring cleanse, and that was doing all of my laundry. Um, After I do a spring cleanse, because I don't cover my head when I'm in the house when I'm spring cleaning, so I probably got dust and shit all in my hair. So I do have to do a detox. For my detox, I use Made for Locs vegan lock detox bar. It's just like a bath bomb in the shape of a little bar that looks like a Klondike ice cream bar. I don't know if you've ever seen those before. They're little, square size cube. Throw it in some water, some hot water, hot as I can bear it. Throw it in there, let it sit, fizzle out. By the time it fizzles out, the temperature of the water is perfect. And then I also add detoxing shampoo and clarifying shampoo. So the ACV shampoo and my black charcoal detox shampoo, I put a few pumps of each of those in there too, and I stir it around in there. Do that. And then I lay there, detox, get it out of my head. I'm actually going to record myself doing it. I'm going to do it on Friday because I don't feel like doing it tomorrow. I'm going to do it Friday, and I'll do a recording of what I do, how I prepare it, and everything, and so on and so forth. So that is it. If you go out, cover your head. One of my clients, she wears wigs regularly. Girl, wash them wigs, because the pollen will collect up in that shit, and you don't want to bring it in your house. So, like, I know you don't want to have to keep washing them, but you got enough. You got enough of them. You can do it, girl. But yeah, wrap your hair up. Whew. Lisa, it's killing me. Yeah, I can imagine how you must feel, Lisa, because I know how your allergies get. I would love seeing Lisa in head wraps. She got the right face for it too. She be out here representing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to use how to put some head wraps on your hair, Lisa, because I think you would look fire with some head wraps for real. So, do y'all have any questions for me? I see I got 5 people in the space. Y'all have any questions for me? Because we're in the last few minutes before the hour ends. What y'all eating for dinner? I ate before this live because I was starving. Anything. Vanessa, you ain't make your appointment yet. I'm open back, girl. Just for me? Okay. I'm going to hook you up, Lisa. I got you, girl. I got you, girl. I got you. You see how dull and weird my hair look? Yeah, so definitely got to cover this up. It's so dull. Just water here. I'm still feeling run down. Yeah, I feel better, Vanessa. Okay. Well, tomorrow's going to be a little warmer, and the sun will be out a little bit more tomorrow. So definitely, please go and update me. Let me know. But yeah, when the season is changed and the pollen count is really high, it's a good idea to cover your hair. And then you don't have to worry about like all the excess stuff from outside coming in the house with you. Yeah. Well, with that being said, I just want to remind you that as your hair grow out, ends of your hair do die. Cut off the dead hair. Split ends happen more with neglect than anything. Cut them off if it happens. And if you have locks and you got locks hanging off, like little balls and strings hanging on the end, snip them off. Do not pull them. If you pull the little strings that's hanging at the end of your lock, it's like pulling a string on a sweater. You wound up pulling it, thinking it's only coming from down here, and all of a sudden you got this big wide gap halfway up the lock. You're like, what the hell? It's because you didn't realize the string that you pulled down here was actually connected up here somewhere. So if you have that happening, snip those little hanging locks that's hanging by strings. that's at the bottom of your lock. Okay, clip, 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 clip. Okay. For proper and healthy growth, you have to be willing to let go. That's in every way. This is what I'm going to close with. You have to be willing to let go in order to grow. And that is in every aspect, whether it's with your hair, whether it's growth within your life. You know, like if you want to grow in a career, sometimes you have to leave that job that you're at in order to get higher up. You can't stay stuck. If you want to grow, you cannot take everybody that you've been friends with since you were 5 years old with you, because y'all have not grown together in self and perspective and morals and values. You have to leave people and things where they stand. Don't have to be no beef. Don't have to be none of that stuff. But in order for you to continue going forward, you cannot allow someone else's comfort in staying stagnant in where they are keep you from proceeding and moving forward. You have to be willing to let go. You want your hair to grow longer? You got to be willing to let go of them dead and weak ends. Without doing so, it will kill the rest of your hair. Okay? Be willing to let go in order to grow. So, coming over here. Good, I'm glad. I'm making spaghetti now. Ooh, I want some spaghetti. I made some turkey Italian sausages. Grits. But nighttime grits. Not breakfast grits, but nighttime grits. So, you season it with the chicken broth and, the seasoning and make them nice and creamy with the milk and butter and whiskey and all of that. Nom, nom, nom. And then I air fried my Italian sausages with a little olive oil and nice seasoning and some onions and peppers. And then I cut them up and put them on top of my grits. And I was just sitting here. I'm about to go get some more because I'm still hungry. But nighttime grits. Yeah, nighttime grits, girl. Okay? Google them. Yes. You got to come on over here. I'm going to get some of these good eats now. Stop playing with me, Nessa. But yeah, with all of everything that I just talked about, is there anything else? Any other questions before we end this live? Because I'm going to give y'all a full hour. Even if we sitting here with crickets and staring at each other, I'm going to give y'all a whole hour. This is my Locs book. It's a big old notebook. All of my clients' Q&A from their these things here. See? Notes. And so on and so forth. A lot of stuff. Right? Okay, y'all, making me hungry. Well, come get a plate, Lisa. I'm gonna start making more Caribbean dishes. That's why I was asking you to, tell me how you make some of the stuff you make. What are his favorite kinds of oils? So, has any of you made the anti-itch spray? The recipe that I gave y'all, have any of y'all made that, the anti-itch spray? Yes, no. I can give the recipe for it again if you haven't and you want it, because this is also the season for that itchy scalp. Because that's another thing that the damn pollen out there can do, have this. So you're going to need some stuff. You need to make some? Okay. So what are the ingredients? You need 4 ounces of distilled water, a little less. All right, 2 tablespoons of non-alcohol witch hazel. 2 tablespoons. Okay. Now, non-alcohol witch hazel is hard to find. in regular stores. You're always going to find it like 80%, 86% witch hazel, or 14% alcohol. Usually if you go into like Rite Aid or something like that, make sure it says no alcohol is in it. Best way to get that is go Amazon and get it, okay? Non-alcohol witch hazel, 2 tablespoons, 4 ounces of distilled water, 6 to 8 drops of peppermint oil, right? And then you can add 6 to 8 drops of your favorite scented oil. Mine has thyme oil, THYME, the herb thyme. It has a lemony scent to it, like citrus. So I put thyme in mine, and then you shake it, you spray, and it's going to soothe your scalp really nicely. So those are the things, right? So don't forget that. 6 to 8 drops peppermint oil, 2 tablespoons of non-alcohol witch hazel, and fill the rest of the bottle with 4 ounces of distilled water, and then 6 to 8 drops of your favorite scented essential oil. Another one that's good if you want to put one that will promote more growth. Rosemary oil is another great one. Now, rosemary oil and peppermint oil. Speaking of that, Made for Locs has a really great rosemary and peppermint refresher spray. And I say that is such a benefit because it's soothing because of the peppermint that's in it. But it also has more of a growth agent in it because of the rosemary oil that's in it. So come on, you can't go wrong with that, right? I did send a mass email to all of my clients, which all of you are, with the information on how you can get stuff from Made for Locs online now, because they did actually launch the website the beginning of this month, right? Before it was just available in Walmart, but now the website has launched and you are able to get products online now. Go check it out. Some dope stuff. Last week they released a specially designed sneaker. Fire. Go check it out. www.madeforlocs.com. I'll put it in my descriptions when I do my editing sometime tonight or tomorrow. When I edit these videos, I do make a timeline for all the different things that I talk about as key points. So you can like just click on the number and skip right to what I was talking about in that point. And it's like that, I think, maybe not on all of my lives, but I've been doing it like the last month or so. So check that out. I will definitely edit all of these things in and any links that you want to look at in regards to that. So I'm over here. I see more questions scrolling up. Using next week for work on the scalp. Hold on, wait. Okay. I need to make some. Okay, you definitely made me hungry. You're down the street, distractible. You know where I'm at. I forgot to make it. Okay, so yeah, definitely make that because it's easy to make, you see. But distractible, I do have a peppermint oil for you. So when you get a chance to come by and get it, okay? Not tomorrow though, because I won't be available. Oh, that sounds good. Got it, boss. Use it next week for it. It really does work. Yeah, because Lisa, I sprayed it on your hair. You like how that felt nice on your hair when I sprayed it on your hair, right? Mm-hmm. See? Thank you for that, Lisa. So people know it works. I ain't just bullshitting you. I'm so long. Come on now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, make that for tomorrow. Diamond, your anniversary is coming up, so you got to make your appointment because it might be hard for you unless you come in during the week. It's going to be hard for you to get a weekend. So make your appointment for your anniversary appointment, okay? Lisa's son, he's one of my clients. His hair has grown so much. I love, 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 love how his hair has grown. You'll see his twist in one of my video shorts. I think it's the second to last one that I had posted. His hair is looking fire. Yeah. It grew so damn much. So yeah. Anyway, next week, if y'all have any suggestions of stuff that y'all would like for me to talk about, please send me a message. You can send a private message. You can put it on one of my posts. It doesn't matter. I just want to make sure I cover things that people want to hear about so that they know that they're on the right track when it comes to taking care of your hair. I don't want people to mess up, And I think that is it. Reminder, in order to grow, be willing to let go. Thank y'all for joining me tonight for Locs Talk Live. I want to send good vibes, healing vibes to you, Vanessa. I hope you feel better. To all of you who are suffering from allergies, I send you healing vibes. And good juju. Right? I send you love. Thank you so much for joining me, for your support and showing up. I appreciate you. Diamond, you and I, we need to get together so that we can get that logo ready, because I'm ready to go and purchase it so that we can move forward. I have been working on the project that I said I was working on, and profits from that will, benefit you as well. Thank you all so much for joining me and everything. And okay. Love you.